Let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we are unpacking an incredibly moving story about a young boy named Arjun. This is a journey about taking absolutely crushing hardship and turning it into a lifelong mission to, quite literally, light up the world. When a teacher asks a classroom of kids what their dream is, you usually hear the standard list of professions, right? But Arjun's answer was different. His mission was deeply personal, born out of sheer love and necessity. He said, "I want to become the person who changes my family's life." He wasn't defining his future by some fancy job title. He was defining it by the impact he wanted to have on the people he loved most. That immediately tells us we're looking at a kid driven by some seriously powerful intrinsic motivation.
To really grasp where that massive ambition comes from, we've got to look at the environment that shaped him. The story kicks off in Shantipur. It's this gorgeous mountain village. But make no mistake, life there is incredibly demanding. The community relies almost entirely on farming, literally working from sunrise to sunset just to get by. Arjun's dad is a daily wage laborer, and it's a stark reality in many rural communities like this. If you miss a single day of work, you miss a meal. But despite this grueling poverty, Arjun's home was just overflowing with warmth and hope.
And that warmth really stems from his mother. It serves as this crucial psychological anchor for him. One day, after Arjun promises that eventually she won't have to work anymore, she gently places her hand on his head and tells him that his kind heart is more valuable than money, that it's their greatest treasure. It's a profound piece of wisdom. It anchors this entire story in love, rather than just the bleakness of their financial situation. They might not have money, but they have this deep moral wealth that becomes Arjun's internal compass.
We see exactly how that moral foundation plays out in the real world during that classroom scene I mentioned earlier. There's this huge contrast. While the other kids are shouting out prestigious careers like doctor, police officer, or businessman, Arjun stands up and states his dream of changing his family's life. The whole room actually falls silent. And what's really beautiful here is the teacher's reaction. The teacher proudly recognizes that true success isn't just about personal accolades or a fancy title. Caring for your family's happiness, that is the mark of someone fundamentally built for real success.
Unfortunately, that proud moment doesn't last long. A few months later, the family is hit by a massive tragedy. Arjun's father gets into a terrible accident and suffers a serious leg injury. Now, in a family that relies strictly on daily wage labor, this isn't just an injury, it is a full-blown economic catastrophe. His dad can't work for months, and their fragile income just stops completely. They have absolutely zero money coming in, to the point where they can't even pay Arjun's school fees. And then the headmaster delivers the crushing blow. If the fees aren't paid, his schooling is over.
So Arjun goes home, completely devastated, tears in his eyes, and tells his mom he might have to drop out. Her response is just made of absolute iron. Even with her own eyes tearing up, her resolve is completely unshakable. She tells him no. Whatever happens, his education must never stop. She absolutely refuses to let the cycle of poverty claim her son's future. And that fierce, grounded determination pushes Arjun straight out of childhood and right into the harsh realities of adulthood. He can't just be a student anymore, he has to become a provider.
The schedule he takes on is just grueling. It is a picture of absolute bone-wearing exhaustion. To keep his schooling alive and help support his family, Arjun shoulders an impossible load. His mornings start well before dawn, out delivering newspapers. Then, he spends the afternoon actually attending school, trying his best to stay awake and absorb the lessons. When evening rolls around, instead of resting, he goes to work at a local tea stall. And finally, late at night, because his house doesn't have proper electricity, he's out studying under the dim glow of streetlights. Many of those nights, he went to bed completely hungry.
Despite falling asleep right over his textbooks from sheer exhaustion time and time again, his incredible resilience really shines through his internal mindset. He tells himself, "This is only one chapter of my life, not the entire story." He never once says, "I've failed." By framing his current suffering as just a single difficult chapter, he takes total psychological control of his destiny. He recognizes that the pain is temporary and the narrative of his life is entirely up to him to write. That is just a masterful display of mental fortitude for a kid.
But you know how it goes. Life often tests us exactly when we're at our absolute limits. And Arjun reaches a serious breaking point. He shows up to school wearing these really old, worn-out clothes, and some of the other students decide to mock him. They point and laugh at his ambition to become a great man. It is a deeply painful, humiliating public moment, and when you're already exhausted, starving, and carrying the weight of your entire family on your shoulders, that kind of mockery can easily break you.
But Arjun doesn't let it. Instead, he internalizes it. He takes that humiliation and turns it into this highly combustible fuel for his ambition.
That very evening, his quiet determination crystallizes into a profound promise. Standing all alone in front of a mirror, he looks himself dead in the eyes and decides he's never going to answer those insults with words. He promises himself that today they might laugh at his clothes, but tomorrow they will stand in admiration of his achievements. His future success is going to be his only response. It's a stunning pivot, really, going from feeling like a victim to becoming completely empowered. He literally weaponizes their doubt to guarantee his own success.
And this relentless drive eventually leads to a pivotal, completely life-altering encounter. One night, Arjun is out in the dark, struggling to study under that flickering streetlight. An elderly stranger happened to be walking by, stops, and asks him a super simple question. "Son, why are you studying here at this hour?" Arjun completely opens up. He explains everything to the stranger, and the old man just listens quietly. Sometimes just being truly heard by someone is the first step toward a miracle.
Well, the very next day, that old man returns, and he isn't empty-handed. He brings a small bag containing several books to feed Arjun's mind, brand new notebooks to write his future, and, crucially, a solar study lamp. This lamp represents literal and figurative light finally entering Arjun's life. It means he no longer has to strain his eyes under unreliable streetlights. It means the darkness of his circumstances is actually being pushed back by the sheer kindness of a stranger. Naturally, Arjun is shocked and quickly admits he doesn't have any money to pay for these precious supplies.
But the old man replies with something incredibly powerful. He says, "This is not a loan. It is my faith in you." That is just such a profound emotional release. He isn't just handing Arjun school supplies, he is validating his entire struggle. By calling it faith, he's essentially telling Arjun, "I see how hard you're working. I see the massive weight you're carrying, and I absolutely believe you're going to make it." For a kid who's been mocked by his peers and battered by life, having an adult step in and offer that kind of unconditional belief is completely transformative.
Before walking away, the old man makes one single request. He doesn't want to be paid back. He wants Arjun to pay it forward. He tells him that when he becomes successful, he needs to help another child exactly the way he was helped today. This one interaction completely expands Arjun's mission. He started out just wanting to save his own family, which is incredibly noble in its own right. But this act of grace totally expands his horizon. Right there, deep in his heart, Arjun makes a new promise: to succeed and become a guiding light for thousands of other dreaming children who are stuck in the dark, just like he was. His ambition scaled from the personal all the way to the universal.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final, somewhat provocative thought based on Arjun's journey. We've just seen how extreme resilience, fueled by love and a total refusal to give up, can guide someone out of poverty. But the real turning point was the intervention of someone who simply provided a little bit of light, literally a solar lamp and a massive dose of belief. So I have to ask you, how can you become a light for others during the darkest chapters of their lives? Whether you're currently building your own resilience or you happen to be in a position to be that stranger for someone else, how will you show up? Because as Arjun's story beautifully proves, true success is never just about reaching the top alone. It is always ultimately meant to be shared.